What's up, everybody? A Spare with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on Space Engineers. Back working on our Corvette-style ship here. So, a couple of things. I'm going to go over some stuff about scheduling-wise while we're building, but I want to address the building side of things first. When we left off in the last episode, we kind of had this shape going on the back end of this ship, which led into this section, creating kind of this little pillar type look going on. I also speculated on possibly doing more of a Super Star Destroyer style of something like this, where you have a pointed stingray type back and then it folds out to a wing. Couldn't really figure out a decent way to make that work, and then I did get a suggestion in the comments about bringing this angle further back and then continuing with these types of ramps going this way to create kind of a very disproportionate V, I guess, which would actually be more akin to the standard Star Destroyer shape, which is the ultimate inspiration for this build. So, I decided to test that theory out on this side, so I've extended the side mostly to the back. As you can see, it kind of goes all the way to the back over there instead of squaring off and going straight. And then, on this side, back here, I started to work the connecting angle in. I'm having a difficult time getting them to line up, mostly because the angle on the 3x1 blocks on the back end is more geared to the standard slant, like this, than the slant that's allowed on... Oh wait, that's two. On this angle. This is a steeper, or a more shallow angle. Well, actually you can see it when it's put up against like one of these. So I'm having a bit of a problem matching it up. I thought doing a single layer, such as this, with the one corner sticking out would be enough because I could match it to this style. Unfortunately, the problem then comes with connecting it here, as it's not working quite right. So I'm still trying to address some of that. And I might have to change this back angle, or this front angle. One thing I started to try and do was to basically start redirecting the angle and do a more gradual stair-step of angles until I got it to where it would work. Haven't had any luck with that so far. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to deal with that. I also want to attempt on this side to try and maybe bring this angle out one, possibly, and see if I can stair-step this in and where it ends up and stuff like that. I have to be careful with this, though, because not all of it is very connected. I didn't connect it much on the bottom, so I'm actually going to go ahead and try and fix that. I do like this idea so far. I'm kind of liking the overall shape it gives the ship. So that should be enough to hold all that in place for now. The corner connection angle is going to be an issue as far as trying to get that accurately resolved. I did think about maybe doing a single layer of standard slopes. But again, if I redirect it like this, it doesn't really help anything, because if I turn this around and then try and rotate, I'm still working with the same angle. And I'm having some difficulty getting that to connect to the sideways horizontal 3x1s. Which is a little surprising, because I really didn't expect there to be that much of a difficulty with it. But one thing that I'm going to try next is working this back and see if I can change the actual connection point, because I might have this too far up, I think, might be the problem now that I'm looking at it from a different point of view. While I'm doing that, though... Oh, Crap, I always do that. I always slip off the block that I want to delete. I do intend to do some explanations on... See, like that, it's so touchy that I always end up... That's totally the wrong block. I always end up slipping off the block that I want. I'm going to explain a little bit why you're seeing an episode of this. So I have some scheduling changes I'm going to make. However, I do want to preface this episode by saying I waited a very long time to start my recording for the day, and I am very far behind. And having said that, I probably will not have time to do a whole lot of cutting like I typically do when it's like, okay, I'm gonna build this part and it's gonna be boring, let me cut away for a second and finish that. You probably won't be seeing any of that in this episode. Hey, that's actually perfect. Well, it could be 1 block hour, but I'll live. I can fill that in. No big deal. So, scheduling. Couple of things. Obviously, you'll notice that this is taking place where the, my kind of unfilled time slot is at the moment. You know what? I'm actually going to start on this side, because I might have to change this angle here. I'm not sure yet. Let's work this up. So... Actually, am I going to be able to... I might be able to keep that where it is if the angle is gradual enough. Not too sure about that yet. Okay, so this is overlapping. So let's take this down. So yeah, anyways, what I'm intending, someone actually suggested recently in, I think it was the last episode, is that, ooh, that's actually really good, I think. If I can get, that might work. No, that's the wrong angle. I can't have that. So I need an... Oops! My bad. Somebody actually suggested doing a build series. It was actually suggested as kind of like a building 101. I don't really want to do it in that way. For one simple reason, and that's I don't really see myself as that great of a builder. So with that in mind... Hey, that actually kind of works. It's not really pointed enough... But we'll leave it there for now. Let's also bring this out. Sorry, I'm going to be kind of switching back and forth, I guess, between my explanations of what I'm doing and trying to explain the schedule all at once. Dang it! I hate it when it gets super touchy like that. I can't end on that. I need to end on this. I think that was the problem I was having before. I'm gonna bring this one up as well. So basically I'm kind of taking that idea and hybridizing, if that's a word. I don't think it is, but I'm gonna go with it. What I'm thinking. Oh, that won't work. Dang nabbit. See, I can't find... Oh, wait, that's too high. That's why that won't work. Okay, well, that's not gonna work then. Do I have... This is the 2-block variant. But that doesn't suit what I need it to suit. What if I did... this? And again, I apologize for kind of switching pages a little bit. That's a much broader angle. I don't like that. I wanted to bring this... I really wanted to bring it straight back and connect it right to a reverse version, but I really don't see that happening the way that the angles are. We've got kind of a weird shape on the back here going on, and it's not lending itself to be very cooperative. This does actually look like a fairly Star Wars Star Destroyer shape, but I gotta connect it somehow, and that's the big problem I'm having. I think for now, I'm going to attempt to do it just with these two blocks and see what kind of a point I can salvage, if any. Not that I'm super confident that I can salvage a point here. Actually, hold on. Where did I go? Oh, I hit the wrong button. That's what it is. Okay. So, the problem that I'm having here is I need to be able to... Oh, I'm backwards, that's why I'm having issues. I need to be able to sustain the shape. Sustain? Yeah, sustain the shape. I think that's what I meant to say. Like, that lines up. This does not line up. But that also means this next one won't either. So then I don't know how to handle this shape. And that's the big problem I'm having, is always... The biggest problem I have with these what do we call it? Sleek designs, if you will, is that the angles never transition properly, and I'm always left with not finding ways to connect the front and the back. Like, I can have a cool shape on the front, I can have a cool shape on the back, but I can't ever get them to meet in a decent angled corner, because it always ends up just not working. Like, I can't ever get all the angles to smoothly line up, which then involves, like, some kind of makeshift workaround that never ends up working right, and it's very frustrating for me. See, if I did something like this, let's go from top down and see if we can make some semblance of sense out of this. Let's see if that works. This could work, but I'm definitely going to have to adjust where... Okay, so this angle will not work. It's not going to go that far back. I don't think. So let's try this out, follow it through, and see what it ends up looking like in the end. I'm going to need 2 on all of these. So, in terms of scheduling, actually, that doesn't make any sense either, does it? Well, no, it might. It might look okay. Let's follow it through, I guess. See what it looks like after we're done. Oh, that's convenient. It's the same angle on both sides. So, what I'm thinking of doing is not necessarily a 101 series in terms of tutorial, but a Let's Build style, where kind of like I used to do back when Space Engineers didn't have a survival section. And that is to kind of like what we're doing here, basically. It's just going to be, instead of... Currently, I've had this listed in Season 3, and that's kind of inaccurate. So, for those of you that may not have kept up or took a break and are just coming back or whatever, what happened was, on the Survival series, which is still considered the same series, like I'm still uploading these under the Season 3 mantra, I thought about starting this episode as the first episode in the new Let's Build series, but I didn't want to start for people that are just kind of tuning in. I didn't want to start in the middle of a build, so I'm waiting till this one is done. At the moment, things will continue to go up under Season 3, though I may start a new season when we go back to Survival. I haven't decided that yet. So that looks okay. That looks better than I expected. I think that'll work. I think that'll work, actually, surprisingly. So let's finish this side off, and we'll see ultimately how this style looks. I have multiple copies of this world actually, so I'm not really worried about it. But I am going to change this side wall to a full angle all the way over and see how that ends up resulting on the exterior. And then I think we have our design. I do. I think I'm getting pretty comfortable with this idea. So for now, I will probably be uploading essentially an extra Space Engineers build, because we're currently in a building segment. I'm not actually playing in survival mode at the moment. And I'll probably continue to upload it under the Season 3 playlist for now. And then once this build is done, the Saturday episodes will probably just be a Let's Build, and we'll just start picking random designs that we want to see built, etc., and so on. Until it ends up kind of, you know, and that one will start with like an episode 1 kind of thing. Actually, I will probably do more of what I did originally under my original Let's Build style, which is naming the build and then just doing parts instead of episodic. It'll just be part 1, part 2 until that's over, basically. Until you're done with that build. So yeah, that's kind of the plan at the moment. So let me know what you guys think about that. If not, we can just have, you know, an extra episode of Space Engineers this week. It was just like we had an extra episode of Subnautica last week. Not a big deal either way. But I did like the idea of having a set-aside like build series separate from the survival. Now, what happened, for those of you again that may have trailed off or lost track of the survival series, what happened was, oh, I'm going too high. What happened was that I wanted to kind of build a custom ship. We were using one of the cargo ships that I had captured, and I was just getting tired of it, and I wanted to build my own ship. So I started building my own ship, but the project being built in survival was getting very, 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 very time-consuming. And so I was kind of like, well, I don't really want to keep building this in survival, so let's build it in creative and then I'll copy it over. Well, then the build was originally a large ship, and the large ship was just getting gigantic. So I ended up switching over during my 5,000 subscriber special live stream event, and I switched over and started building on this because the frame rate was more solid. And I'm currently just testing, I'll probably have to redo these doors anyway, but I'm testing to see if I can get to the center area here. Oh, you know what I could do? I could use these ramps. Wait a minute, could I have used the ramps over here? I probably could have, couldn't I? I think I could. No, because it won't match the back angle of these. See, that's what I mean. Like, that just doesn't... I don't like that. And it won't match the angle here, because this is also the back angle. So I'm pretty much stuck just working this angle all the way back up, and then leveling this out. I guess that's kind of where I'm stuck at. So, tell you what. For the middle of the ship, let's just go ahead and say that this half is a completely new design. I will probably keep that airlock design. We're just going to be moving it, I think. Either further back or further out. I haven't quite decided yet, because I'm pretty sure there's a mod. I don't know if I have it installed or if I will have to install it in a future episode. I do not know offhand, but I'm fairly certain that there's a mod for like these airtight hangar doors, but they're angled like these, or at least like the standard slope angle. I think I could have swore I saw something like that on the workshop. I could be mistaken. It would not be the first time. What am I stuck on here? Let me out. Whatever is holding me back. Stop holding me back. But yeah, so I like the idea of separating the two. That well, anyways, what I started to say about the survival series. So the ship that I was building originally got too big, and the frame rate was beginning to get horrible, and I realized I really couldn't use it in survival, which was the original intention. So then it pretty much turned into a... And yes, I know I'm blocking up where the door would go. I'm just trying to make sure that spacing works for everything, and that I'm not breaking anything important. I really probably shouldn't have built that attached to that block, but whatever, because it probably won't be there. So then I decided when I was doing the live stream that the frame rate was too bad on the large ship I was building, so I decided to opt and start a small ship with a similar aesthetic design, which is still modeling after a Star Destroyer, which arguably, on this right side, I think looks way more accurate to a Star Destroyer, that it goes further back and it maintains the same angle and then just kind of jumps over. I'm pretty sure that's more accurate to the actual design to begin with. I don't know if I could get away with... I don't think I will, because this is the top point where they have to meet. So I don't think that would work. I was thinking if I could go one more out down here, but if I went one more out down, then the whole angle would break and it wouldn't make any sense. So I think that's as good as we're going to get in terms of angle. And like I said, I will probably end up fixing this whole other side and mirroring this at some point, but I do not have the time this episode to do any cutting type of thing. This actually surprisingly works. I probably have to do some kind of inner angle and wrap it around over here instead of doing just a straight tall wall, but that actually does work. I think the airlock could actually still work. I think I would just have to move it in closer. What is this called? Hangar. Let me see if I have any mods actually in here that are... We got a 3x8, 1x3x1. I don't know which one I was using. I think it was the 1x3. And I don't think... If there is a mod that does that, I don't think I have it. Yeah, there we go. So... I think I would want to put it out here, or back here, but I don't know how to do the shape. I won't lie. That I need some kind of access point so that you can get in and out. Can I walk through this? Would be a good question. Oops. I know I just put those there, but they were more for spacing anyway. I wanted to see if it would work or not. The only way I'm going to get an accurate read on this is to place... What would the placement be? It would be just like this. Or wait, no, it would be 3, wouldn't it? Because that's the dead center, so it'd be a 3-block space. I'm fairly certain that I can walk through that. Yeah, I can do 3. Okay. So, let's see. Let's just mess around with this for a minute. This is pretty much, I've decided that if I'm really going to stay with this arch back here, and I really do like it, I think it's my overall favorite out of the different styles that we've tried. So if I'm going to stay with that, then this is all pretty much toast anyway. If I disconnect that, there we go. We can just get rid of that. That's way easier. So yeah, anyways, once I started building on this ship, this is ultimately going to be saved into a blueprint. I'm going to add the necessary mods, if I don't already have them, into the world. Now, there is one thing, is I have gone so long without actually doing survival mode that I am curious, and I would like you guys' opinion on whether or not it would be smarter or more entertaining, I suppose, for you guys. It's not really about what's smart. To simply start a Season 4 and just keep the blueprint in mind, that grab a few cargo ships, etc., etc., and then, you know, kind of like I did in the last one, only instead of having to design the ship myself, it would already be designed. Because it would just be saved into a blueprint, so all I'd have to do is build a projector or whatever. And then we could just go from there as far as probably steal one large ship, and I would imagine that I would have enough parts, because parts on a small ship, which this is, are way less expensive than a large ship. So I'm kind of thinking that all I'd have to do is grab one cargo ship, and then, other than like life support and power, pretty much dismantle everything and build it. And I'm fairly certain, depending on the cargo ship that I actually get the first time around, it wouldn't take very long, is I guess what I'm getting at, to have the parts to build this ship. Because this one, again, once I go back to survival, this will definitely be saved as a blueprint and be ready to go. I would just have to get the materials and everything to build it. So, yeah, that's my theory anyway. My plan is, for now, this is still going to be going up because I've already started it under the Season 3 playlist and series title, if you will, so all the thumbnails and all that stuff for this particular build are already kind of set up in that fashion. Actually, I can fix this relatively quickly by just taking out the outlining points, I believe. I just hope I didn't delete anything important over there. And then we can just go like this, and voila! Big chunk gone. And all I really need to do is get this to the point where it can be attached to something like that. Okay. Now, where do we want the door? I'm almost wondering if we should go up just one, so that it still holds the frame together? I don't know. I didn't really think this part through very well as far as getting into the ship. That works. I don't know if... I think I can fit through here without dropping straight down. I think I can go in at an angle. Yeah, I can. Okay. So that angle would... or that amount would work, which is cool. For now, I think... let's put in these first. I think I'm gonna put these, like, here. For now. Of course, we'll have to... actually, where was that? Did I get rid of it? I had the interior blocks set up. I did add a few mods from Sheocore. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know, to be sure. Which, really cool mods. Really, really cool stuff. And I tried to include... they have a master pack which has all of the mods. Unfortunately, I couldn't really get it to load the world once I installed the master pack, so that was a little disappointing. It just... I got caught in one of those infinite loading cycles where it just wouldn't load. It was kind of annoying. Problem. There we go. I had this buffered, and I was like, where did all that go? Come on. Stop being so finicky. Oh, it's caught on the hangar door. Okay. So, we could totally pull off something to this effect. Come on, don't be that way. And let's grab a baton. And I did add some more buttons too. Single button panel. I think this is... yeah, there we go. Something small. Needle button. And we'll go ahead and add these to a group for now. Just temporarily. Oh, yeah, I have to do that first, don't I? Control panel. Put you over here. And we'll call this main hangar doors. Now we can grab the button. Oh, come on. And we'll test that out. So yeah, that's kind of my theory. I'm totally open to suggestion as to what you guys think, as far as if you're down for all those suggestions and whatnots. Cool. The other thing is, I believe you can paint these. No? I really thought you could paint them. Maybe I'm just not painting them a color that's paintable, or it's because it's not the original. Maybe these you can paint. I feel like I've painted them before. No, maybe not. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm placing them, or I'm trying to paint them with the color that I've already been using. Duh. They're already that color. Ah, so you can paint them. Sweet. That adds some interesting ideas. So yeah, it's a start. I really think I'm sold on this shape. As for thrusters, I can always pop a couple of holes out and stick the thrusters out, or what I'd actually like to do is make them internal and just space them to where they don't damage any blocks, is kind of my hope, because I think that would be pretty darn cool. So anyways, but I think that's going to wrap things up for this episode. Let me know what you think on the schedule ideas. I'm also looking for door suggestions. If there are actual angled airlocks, I would really like to know about it, because that would be amazing. I suppose... hold on, before we do that, I suppose I could take a simple precaution and use one of these. If the angle matches... oh, the... is it really 4 blocks? Hold on. That doesn't seem right. What is that, like 5 or 6 blocks wide? That's crazy. And not what I was expecting. I feel like that's big for a door. I was thinking you could make them small. And it's a compact door, go figure. Alright, well, I might be able to take one of these angles off, I suppose, but I was almost positive there was an angled airlock door. So let me know about that if you know. In the meantime, I think we're going to wrap things up here. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace.